Hello and good evening. Welcome to the Prince William County Public Schools Community Meeting for Chris Young and Mullen Elementary Schools Boundary Adjustment. I'm Dr. Cartledge, the Supervisor of Planning. We have a panel with us this evening. Accompanying me from Planning is Dave Beavers, Supervisor of Planning, Matt Townsend, Administrative Coordinator of School Planning, and Scott Halsey, Senior GIS Analyst, Administrative Coordinator. We also have with us an Associate Superintendent who needs no introduction, Ms. Jocelyn Hart, Associate Superintendent for Western Elementary Schools. And also want to thank our interpreter with us this evening. The panel and I would also like to thank school board members in attendance, Chairman Lateef, Ms. Jackson of the Brentsville Magisterial District, and Ms. Wall of the Gainesville Magisterial District. At the end of our scheduled presentation, we might hear from these board members. At this time, I will turn it over to Mr. Townsend.
Thank you very much, Dr. Cartledge. We appreciate you joining us this evening for the opportunity to hear about the boundary adjustment staff are pursuing between Chris Young and Mullen Elementary Schools. Before we begin, there are a few housekeeping items I'd like to address. The slides that we are presenting this evening will be found on tab 5 of the Chris Young and Mullen Elementary School Boundary Adjustment portal, which will be linked at the end of the presentation. The recording of tonight's community meeting will also be linked on tab 5. You can expect that early next week. Live captioning is available in the chat box for those viewing on GoToWebinar Live. And to view that, you would just click the chat icon that's appearing at the bottom right of the information box, or bottom left of the information box. Captioning is also available on pwcstv.com. And lastly, we'd like to thank PWCS's Community Relations, Media Production, and Translation Services teams for their help in preparing and broadcasting tonight's meeting. We'll begin tonight's presentation by reviewing the process used for this boundary adjustment. Then we'll move on to discuss the boundary issue and what's causing us to be here tonight. We'll follow that by reviewing some noteworthy items before discussing staff's recommendation. And we'll wrap up the presentation by going over the next steps and receiving feedback from those who have registered to speak at tonight's meeting in advance. School Board Regulation 264-1 allows for an abbreviated school boundary planning process for cases involving between 1 and 100 students, which this Young Mullen boundary adjustment falls within. Rather than forming a boundary committee of up to 15 people, the regulation allows for Office of Facility Services staff to meet with the administrative or the advisory council or similar groups from each of the affected schools. Our team completed that May 6th for Mullen Elementary School and May 19th for Young Elementary School. The process also requires one community meeting to be held to notify the community and to receive their feedback regarding this boundary adjustment, which is tonight's meeting. The last step of the process is to bring the adjustment to the school board for their approval, and more information on that date will follow. Now let's talk about the reason we're here this evening. As developments work their way through the approval and site development process, parcel lines can shift specifically around parcel or when parcel subdivision occurs. Our tendency areas follow parcel lines, and as the Blackburn community matured and the lots were subdivided, the parcel line that the elementary school boundary line followed was shifted, resulting in splitting the Blackburn community between Chris Young Elementary and Mullen Elementary Schools. This presents an obvious transportation inefficiency by sending multiple buses to the same neighborhood, as well as confusion among the homeowners when we could have houses on the same street being assigned to 2 different elementary schools. To the map on the right, you'll see the pink filled area represents the western side of the Blackburn development. The eastern side is off of Ashton Avenue and at the Ashton-Baltimore intersection. The purple line represents our current elementary attendance area lines. Our red line represents our proposed elementary boundary adjustment. And then the gray red filled hashed area represents the proposed or the area that would be affected by this proposed adjustment. Now I'll turn it over to Scott Halsey for more information on this.
Thank you, Mr. Townsend. The Blackbird community has recently been split among two schools because of parcel adjustments for continuing growth of the development. These parcel adjustments have caused a splitting of a small community along Willow Green Circle, where students on the same street will be attending two separate schools, causing a transportation inefficiency. The split continues down the southern end of Coverstone Road, where additional construction is currently occurring. In all, the split has a potential to affect 90 premise addresses when the development of Blackburn is completely built out. The roads affected by this adjustment are north of Coverstone Road, part of Willow Green, and south of Coverstone Road, Blackburn Ridge Drive, Cove Point Drive, and Dry Spring Drive. When looking at the future, the development is anticipated to generate approximately 82 additional students at the elementary school level during the CIP window from 2021 to 2030. The image on the right shows how the housing will generate additional middle and high school students during the CIP window also. The 82 projected elementary students of the new Blackburn community are forecasted to attend Chris Young Elementary, not Mullen Elementary. Thus, our September 30th projections for both schools will not be affected by the recommended adjustment. Recommendations by the planning team. The planning team recommends that all of Blackburn community be assigned to Chris Young Elementary School effective June 11th, 2020. This will reassign the 90 affected residences along Willow Green Drive, Blackburn Ridge Drive, Cove Point Drive, and Dry Spring Drive. Looking at the criteria under Regulation 264-1, this will improve the current transportation inefficiencies and unifies a split residential community. Looking forward, on June 10th is the scheduled info and action on this proposed adjustment. Community members may address the school board prior to the school board approving the recommendations of moving the 90 residences from Mullen Elementary to Chris Young Elementary School. The meeting is scheduled to start around 7 p.m. The planning department will provide a link to sign up for citizen comment time on tab 1 of the Mullen and Chris Young boundary portal. We would like to share with you our contact information. Please, if you have any additional questions and/or concerns, feel free to contact us via email at planning@pwcs.edu or via telephone at the number provided on the screen. Also, please view the Mullen and Young boundary portal at the provided link. Note that this link is case sensitive. Now it's time for the community feedback portion of our presentation. Unfortunately, we did not have any speakers sign up in advance to our deadline at 6 p.m. today. The planning team still encourages you to submit your feedback and/or concerns at the tiny link under bullet number 3 or on tab 4 of the Mullen and Chris Young boundary portal. Note that this form will expire on Monday, June 1st. I will now turn it back to Dr. Cartledge with some closing remarks.
Thank you, planning team, for addressing the features of this administrative boundary adjustment. At this time, we would like to let the school board members in attendance address the audience. We have with us this evening Dr. Lateef, Ms. Jackson, Ms. Wall, and also Ms. Zargapur of the Coles Magisterial District. At this time, we'll let Dr. Lateef address the audience if he wishes.
Thank you, Dr. Cartledge. I appreciate the introduction, and thank you all for doing this great work and for the community participating in this wonderful effort to make things more efficient and appropriate for out there. So thank you all for that great work. And I would add to Mr. Cartledge's point, if folks want to email school board members regarding the same issue, they can go to the school board website and pull up our emails there and send us emails regarding that. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Dr. Lateef. Next, Ms. Jackson.
Hi, thank you for leading today. It was a very informative presentation. I just would like to echo that I would encourage the community to reach out to me also or directly through your portal. And again, thanks for this presentation.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. And Ms. Wall of the Gainesville District.
Hello, good evening, everybody. Thank you to the Planning Committee. I guess we're calling you the Planning Committee for your work on this boundary adjustment. I think it was very interesting, and I think it's a good thing that you have presented to us. I like the easy format. I echo everybody else's comments. If there is someone listening who would like to reach out to the school board through any of the means available, we would love to hear from you. And that's all. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Wall. At this time, this concludes our presentation. Just one last reminder that you may visit the Chris Young and Mullen Boundary Portal throughout this weekend and provide feedback in the form. And this will be presented to the school board for its action on June 10th. And thank you very much for being with us this evening. Take care and be safe.